Alright, welcome back to the channel, guys. This weekend we are in Uwharrie, North Carolina. It is way colder here than when I left Pensacola, Florida this morning. It's like 30 degrees here. I think when I left it was, I don't know, like 50, 55, not even that. It was like 60 degrees. It was warm, and now it's freezing cold. It's my first night camping in quite a while, so hopefully I didn't forget anything. Hopefully I'm not ill prepared. We're out here with my Southern Expeditions. We're in Uwharrie National Forest. We're actually on Overland Experts property right now. We're down here by the river. Should be a pretty a beautiful place to wake up to in the morning. I'm excited. Should be a fun weekend, and it'll make me remember everything I forgot that I left at home this morning. So, been a crazy week. Been a super busy month. I'm super blessed. You know, we can't thank everyone enough for all the support we've had. It's been, you know, like a crazy fun year, and you know, I can't wait, man. I'm having a blast. I really am. All right, so we are in the Uwharrie. We're not in the Uwharrie National Forest. We're in Overland Experts. They're private properties. I've got my Tacoma out here. We've got the Southern Expeditions Tacoma out here, and it's a beautiful day, which is good because tomorrow's gonna suck real bad. It's gonna be real cold and real wet, and it should be an interesting experience. But we've got, it's already a little slop out here in the North Carolina backwoods. You having fun out here?
Dude, living the dream.
What are we doing, Derek?
Awesome. We're out here scouting for 2020 Overland Challenge. So out here in Uwharrie at Big Creek Rocks Off-Road Park.
When's the Overland Challenge?
May 1st to 3rd, 2020.
We're gonna be there. So if you're in the Southeast, guys, it's gonna be a great time. How many team slots you got left? 9 slots left. By the time this video gets posted, it may be 4 or 5. So
Sign up.
all right, guys. I always like to play some. We are in an off-road park, so you know we can do a little bit of a dirty, nasty wheeling out here, and playing up in a little rock garden right now. Stretching out our legs, the new KM3s. Trying not to break anything, but low-key think I'm gonna, so. Luckily, we got some pretty decent front travel. We're running a Radflow 2.5 setup, extended coilovers with some Total Chaos, so can't go wrong there. We have full CBI armor, worn winch, full CBI skids running all the way back. Alright guys, so most of the time I would put up all the windows with my tent rods. It's going to get pretty cold tonight, probably down, I think, like 25, 26. And it's also supposed to rain in the morning with some possible snow. So I'm not going to open up any of the windows tonight, other than the the far window on the passenger side of the truck. And really because, you know, that I have like another entire cover for that window, so you know, keeps the tent nice and dry. It still stays dry with the windows open, but you know, I've found that it just, you know, stays a little warmer and things like that with the windows closed. And also run a propane heater inside of my tent, so that is a, you know, another big reason why that I open up the biggest window on their side, even though it does have a cover. You know, when it's open, it provides some nice ventilation. So I have a Mr. Buddy heater. It says it's safe indoors, but you know, I don't want to risk it. So, you know, keep some nice ventilation. I don't keep it on the whole time I'm sleeping, just, you know, before I go to bed and when I wake up, and it works out pretty well. It's about 37 degrees out here today. It's been raining for probably the past 12 hours, and guys, it is just soupy out here. So cold. I guess it's not that cold. I just need to stop whining, but it's pretty cold. So we are shooting some pre-photos for the 2020 Overland Challenge today. We've got John from BF Goodwrench out here in the Assassin's Jeep. I think that has 39 KM3s on it. We've got the LFD off-road guys out here with us. So even though it is really rainy and cold, we're gonna make the best of it. Trying to do some dirty, nasty wheeling today, and probably gonna head back to Florida either tonight or early in the morning. So.
I'm conquering the spirit, I'm busting through the ceiling. I'm following your lead, I'm following this feeling. I'm conquering the spirit, I'm busting through the ceiling. I'm following your lead, I'm following this feeling. I'm conquering the spirit, I'm busting through the ceiling. I'm following your lead, I'm following this feeling.
All right, guys. We're going to ride around in the Hilux. I think this is my first time in a Hilux.
Well, you're in for a treat.
All right, guys. So we are with Tony from Overland Experts. How do you have this Hilux here?
Yeah, a little bit of a long story, but I'll make it kind of summarize it as best we can. We get these Hiluxes here if they are, kind of the rule is if it's newer than 25 years old. This one is an 07. We can keep it for 3 years. We actually buy it, we bring them into the country, we own them for 3 years, but then we have to sell it back to somebody overseas. So just about to the day that we bought it, 3 years later, it has to be in a port or on a ship getting ready to go back to wherever we sell it to. We get to do it because we have a military trading clause. We train military, NGO, civilian, utility,
Right on.
anybody who wants to come through training. Our military training is primarily
what
special
you guys do,
operations.
yeah.
It's so
Yeah, I
the
know,
Hilux is they're a vehicle that
we
is
saw them
used-
last night. I got to play with all the
the night vision. Yeah, that was fun.
That was awesome.
Yeah, right on.
And so, do you have a prior military background?
Yeah, I was active duty for 26 years. Started life in 275, 75th Rangers, and then I did a little time in LURS. I was in 5th Special Forces Group, and then I was in 3rd Special Forces Group. In between there, I did some instruction time at Special Warfare Center selection. So I mean, I've been really, but even in 275, I was involved with vehicles or mobility to some aspect. So yes, a lot of what we're doing, even though we can run, jump, and stab, and fly and parachute our way into a fight or into the battlefield, really 90% of the time, we're driving there. So
Right.
guys got to know how to drive. And
Tony, I got you and Dan on a radio, and I got another radio with their frequency, so I can relay anything you need me to.
all right, 10-4. I'm moving, obviously, and Dan looks like he's good to go behind us. It's pretty simple, this first part of it. You guys know this perimeter wash machine, but from here we'll go down to, I think, bucket list. It might be interesting down there, and then we'll see what we got.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so I was lucky enough to find this job. I actually, after I did my time as a team sergeant in 3rd Group, I went from there and became the NCO in charge of the mobility detachment in our advanced skills company at 3rd Special Forces Group. Really great job, and so there I was doing much what I'm doing here, training and organizing training and trips for the active team guys, mostly on ATVs, Humvees, and our side-by-sides, our modified Razors, and we would do trips up into West Virginia and different places. And I did that for about 3 years before I retired. During that time, I had to take my cadre for training, and I was always trying to figure out a way to teach guys how to not break things, right? So, you know, we're all really good at hitting the skinny pedal and going fast, but the problem is, you know, you can only do that for so long before something fails. And these guys have to be trained how to understand mechanical sympathy and, you know, treat their vehicle almost like a, you know, mechanical horse, right? I mean, it's, your life can literally depend on how well you drive and how well your vehicle holds up a lot of times. So I found this school, Overland Experts. This Overland Experts has been around, man, 18, almost 20 years now. I'll have to find out, you know, 18 to 20 years really when it became an official school, and it was founded by a guy named Bruce Elfstrom. And Bruce is a really interesting guy, a really smart guy. His background isn't military, but he literally spent his young life overseas. Libya, Africa, of course, South America, all over the place, Iceland, Scandinavia. But his parents, from what I understand, were documentary filmmakers, among other things. So that meant Bruce, from a very young age, had to drive them around where they were loading cameras and, you know, doing their filmmaking stuff. So he kind of developed he developed a really high level of skill for operating four-wheel drive vehicles and recovering them in austere environments. Of course, these vehicles are not fancy. They're just, you know, Land Cruisers and Land Rovers and Hilux trucks, the kind of thing that they have in other countries, barely modified. Maybe they got a winch on them. You know, maybe they've got some recovery points and other recovery gear, but they're not these big wheeled, big tired type rock buggies that, you know, are so popular and are so awesome, you know, with the folks recreationally. So yeah, he developed this really good skill, brought it back to the States, came back to the States and found out that people were interested in what he was doing. Really, you know, the next thing you knew, he started training people. Had a couple of Land Cruisers and a couple of Rovers, and was, you know, more or less training people out in the field, vehicle side, truck side. It was, and it caught on. And because special operation, kind of the way they operate, the way we operate, it's just, you know, you're usually in lower visibility vehicles, or a lot of times, you know, you might be just 4, 6 guys, 12 guys, the only Americans in a certain area of a country, and the way you're getting around are the local type of vehicles. So I said, you know, this looks like a pretty good program. So I took my guys through Overland Expert up in Connecticut. We have 4 locations: Connecticut, Virginia, Orange, Virginia, here in North Carolina, and then we're just starting our other long-range unsupported training out in Utah. And I took these guys through the Connecticut course as a student, and I said, wow, you know, this curriculum really jives with what we want to do. So, 3 years later, I got a call from Bruce saying, hey, you know, let's talk about a job. And I said, absolutely. So I am currently, my title is the Director of Military Training. And so I kind of in charge of coordinating and scheduling, you know, keeping contact with the different military units for, you know, bring them into training. But my passion is instructing. That's what I like to do first. Obviously, I'm passionate about driving and recovery myself. And when I'm not doing this nearly 6 days, sometimes 7 days a week, I'm doing it recreationally as well. I just have a really good time with it. And but again, I love to train. I love to still be a part of, you know, or feel like I'm being a part of what's going on with the guys, you know, when they're, you know, fighting the good fight, doing their thing overseas.
No, for sure, man. That's awesome, Tony.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, man.
Sorry, I was a little long-winded.
No, dude. Thank you for your service, and thank you for everything.
Abrázame toda la noche, no nos queda mucho tiempo más. No quiero perder lo que queda.